Hey everybody, it's me, Bradford, your Carnivore Gourmand, and today I am going to show you how I made these rich, buttery, versatile, delicious butter biscuits.
Now, if you've watched my channel, you know that I'm not real big about recreating things that we never should have been eating in the first place. But every once in a while, uh, a makeover video is helpful when looking for something special or a special occasion, or you just got a Jones for a particular kind of dish. And biscuits are one of those things that maybe a couple of times a year I like to make a carnivore version. And this recipe couldn't be easier. I'm going to use this Augustin butter powder. I got this off of Amazon. I think it cost between $30 and $35. And it's just what it says. It's butter in powder form. And it's only two ingredients for this recipe. It couldn't be easier. And it's not, this is not inexpensive stuff either. So I wouldn't be making a big batch of biscuits. That's a lot of bees. Um, every week or something, I wouldn't be doing this, but every couple of months I break it out and I've decided I like these. Now I got to give credit to Cary Kelly for this, and I'll put his YouTube link in the description box. But it's 2¼ cups of this butter powder going into the bowl, and I've made these a few times, and I've just found them to be tasty and useful. And optionally, at this point, you could put in half a tablespoon of baking powder. I don't know that I found it really helped when I tried it, but it didn't hurt. And I'm going to crack a couple of eggs. And because this is the only other ingredient, I'm going to get this stirred up really well before I put it into the butter so it will maybe incorporate a little bit easier. And if you've ever made traditional biscuits with flour and cut in butter, that's kind of the vibe here. Once we start putting this together, it's almost like cutting butter into flour, but in this case, we're cutting the eggs into the butter powder. You got to trust the process. You just got to keep after it, keep stirring it. It seems like it's never going to get moist because it's so dry. But remember, this is like pure fat. So it will eventually gather up into sort of a doughy form, so that you can then make the biscuit shape. Now, I should have mentioned my oven is preheated to 325 degrees. And now that this has all come together, I just sort of ran my fingers under the tap water just for a second to help it not stick quite so much to my hands. You can do this with, a spoon or a spatula, but I just got in there and got my hands dirty and made a biscuit shape. You don't want to compress this so that it's really super dense. So you're just kind of making a loose biscuit form, and then we're going to put it right onto this silicone baking sheet. And I have found that with this much product, 2¼ cups of butter powder, 2 eggs, that this will make 3 pretty good sized biscuits or 4 smaller biscuits. And given how rich they are, there ain't nothing wrong with 4 smaller ones, because I'm telling you that it's it's um it's heavy rich, delicious as it is. Heavy rich. Maybe that should have been my rap name back in the day. Now into the oven on a middle rack for 13 to 17 minutes, depending on your oven. Mine tends to run a little cold. I went a full 17 minutes. And then when they're done with that baking time, move the rack up and put them under the broiler for 90 seconds to 2 minutes, maybe at the most 2 minutes and a half. This will help brown up the top and give it a nice texture on the top and around the entire biscuit. Now, these have no gluten in them, of course, so they're not as hearty as a flour biscuit. So you got to be a little bit careful, but they will slice open just like a biscuit will in the inside. Not so much flaky, but texture-wise, it's very much like a biscuit. Um, and like I've said before, it's buttery, it's rich, and it's going to hold up for whatever you decide to use it for.
Now this biscuit is really pretty versatile. If you wanted to and you're sick and tired of chaffles, I know I can get sick and tired of chaffles, but you want something in your hands, it could be used as a burger bun, a sandwich bun. You can also use it for biscuits and gravy. It does taste like a buttery biscuit. I have found also that it makes an excellent base for eggs Benedict. But you can't forget how rich it is because it is made of pure butter powder. So, you know, if you're used to eating 2 or 3 English muffins with as your eggs Benedict, you might have a hard time getting that much of that kind of biscuit down. But it is versatile, but it is rich and it is delicious. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.